Everything's working. I didn't think everything was going to work. I had, you get to prepping and you get to working and you get to thinking about everything that you got to do before you stream and the stuff you got to carry upstairs, like big generators back there. And what happens? The stupid Orbi internet ain't working. What's up, Carlos? But I got that internet thing. I'm thinking about an Eero. I'm thinking about ditching the Orbis and working my way over to some Eeros. Anybody that got some sweet hot mesh Wi-Fi action, and you have an opinion, let me know, because these are moody biatches. I think I can say that. TSG, Algae Warrior, King Tide. This is a great topic. Yeah, see, look, disclaimer. I've been pitching backup power. I'm not going to be one of those guys that says, I've been pitching backup power and now everybody's talking about it. Look, this is important to me. This is an important topic. And I've dabbled in it a little bit. The Drunk Show, which is the show that we shall not discuss. We talked about it a little bit with the sweet solar thing I got going on. This thing's important to me. I was an electrician, right? For 20 years, 16 days. I was an electrician, aircraft electrician in the Air Force. I mean, after 18 years, 17 years, 18 years, I moved up to the squadron level. And I mean, that's how they get rid of people like me, because I was like, oh, hell no, I'm not working on something, so I got to go. But this is what I did. I don't do that now, but I still remember. This is important to me. Backup power is important, but not just backup power. Got to think about it. What's up, Thomas? Robert. Only lost power for 3 hours, but is horrible. Power outages suck. I've had one legit multi-day power outage here, and it was 11 years ago, and it was a beautiful snowstorm, and that's before I was reef keeping. Because I've been doing this 8 years, I think, and I still suck at it. We'll talk about that in a minute, but. We lit the fireplace up and we just hung out in the basement and we figured out the stove worked because I got a gas stove, and we cooked hot dogs and hung out by the fire. I mean, it wasn't horrible. Other people had it way worse. I got lucky. Something scrolled. Let me say. I usually have at least one consistent, almost spilled my drink, thumbs downer, and that's cool. I mean, that's fine. You can thumbs down. Let me look. I can't tell. I just see that there's 20 of yous. Oh, how come my little doohickeys not showing up? What the heck? I used to have a little how many people was hanging out here thing. I guess I need to go over to that web page. Wait. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Oh, no. No. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. Wonder what happened there. Oh, wait. Oh, no. That's not it either. That one works. This one works. Those don't. Oh, well. We'll worry about that later. Let me catch back up. Thomas already said, hey, right? Right. The thumbs down is probably my mother not liking the intro music. I think I'm going to keep the music, but I may change the intro. We'll see. Hey, Kanek. I can see Ryan. No, thumbs down for that guy. That's too pedestrian. That's too mundane. It's not enough. He demands change. He demands whatever. Durzo. Hi, Durzo. Have you been here before? I don't remember. Selfish TV. How are you, sir? What up, Gabe? Gabe, how come your thumbnail isn't 3D printed weenies? I'm just saying. King Tide, what? I already said hi to you, but hi again. What's up, Troy? Generators on generators. Yes. The intro song that's my get psyched mix. Oh, I have a new get psyched mix. Ready? We're gonna build a Telegram playlist. I am strange, and you already know this. I dig mashups. I was turned on today to a mashup by BYNX. It's Billie Eilish and 9 Inch Nails, and it's off the hinges. That is Telegram's song 1 on the Get Psyched Douchebag playlist. Check it out. If you like mashups, it's legit. For those of you normal folk who have made it past the age of 12, you may not find that all that enjoyable. King Tide, we spent hundreds of thousands on the blah 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 and no money. So, yeah, 25 peeps. Not me, Jim. I always give you thumbs up. I appreciate that, Carlos. Carlos, I like talking with you. I appreciate your guidance, and I've said that before because you've been very helpful. Certainly with my recent woes. Falcon, how are you? Acro Breeder, what up? Dubs Reef. Speaking of dub, Enter Sandman. King Tide. Enter Sandman. Oh, I can't remember. I have a couple out there. There's some sweet mashups. There's some sweet ones. We're gonna let them out one at a time. Remember, Telegrams, Get Psyched, Douchebag playlist. Y'all gotta put that on Spotify. God, I can't talk. Spotify. Okay, what is the most important? And I'm gonna say this slowly, and then I'll ramble a little bit so I can see some guesses. What's the most important disaster avoidance power outage thing you can buy? Did I say that slow enough? Some of you are quick, and I know there's like 20, 25 seconds. Yeah, Billie Eilish. Something about it. Something about that beat. All right, what do we got? I'm going to pull those lenses. All right, Thomas, pull those lenses off tonight. Thomas got 2 Dodge Vipers side by side. I think with some AliExpress. Green plaid. I'm gonna say no. Water bubbler, no. Something that will tell you that it happened. That's a really good point, and we'll talk about that. Let me write that down, Gabe, because I didn't write that down on my notes. This is what it's like when I teach people stuff. I gotta look around my drink. Okay. Water bubbler. Something that tells you that the power outage happened. Battery air pump. What's up, Phil? Phil, I want to grow up and be like you because your tank is freaking beautiful. You and Carlos, you big acro people. I get this tiny little, I got small tank probs. Generator, solar power, USB Airstone. That's kind of cool. Oh, that's kind of cool. With a battery, big battery. Generator, more beer. Oh, good point. Drinks are number 1, I suppose, because you gotta whatever. What's up, Jay Sanchez? I asked what the most important. You know what the most important thing is? A freaking extension cord. This is the most important thing for a power outage. You know why? If you don't have this, you ain't gonna get no juice. I was thinking about this because we had an ice storm coming here. And before storms roll in here, I'm like, what do I need? What don't I have? I'm like, Man, I got tanks upstairs now, and I don't have a way to get up there with power because I only have one extension cord, and that's going to run into the basement for the big tanks. Big. What up, Remy? Yeah. Extension cords. Number 1. Number 2, unless your tanks have, unless they're in the basement like mine with a kick-ass wood fireplace, except for the ones upstairs, they're going to freeze. Number 2, heaters. You know why? Because houses are cold. I saw so many posts, and y'all know I got spare heaters out the wazoo. I saw so many posts. That's a good guess too, Gabe. An inverter, Harbor Freight generator on sale for less than $300. Ran 2 tanks and my fridge for a 3-day power outage. That's a good one, Phil. There you go. Which Harbor Freight generator? It's a Predator. It's a 3500. You could probably get the same thing because it's a reskinned Wen, which that is, for less if you get it from Amazon. So take a look at that. But, when you need a generator, it doesn't really matter how much they cost because you're going to get one. Heater. Have multiple heaters. I got, no kidding, I have 4 of these in the garage because all of the tanks already have multiple heaters. They got a primary heater and a backup heater. The big tanks. So when I say big, the 45 in the basement and the 40-gallon breeder in the basement, they both have dual heaters just in case the primary fails. And they're these. I like these Finex THs. They don't have I use the Inkbird, right? They don't have a heater controller because these have to be mounted horizontally, and if you mount them vertically, like a lot of tanks are going to kind of need, then the heater controller doesn't work. So I want to be able to mount the damn thing however I want, and this lets me do that because I just use the Inkbird to control it. Heaters. I have a large battery backup on both tanks and a generator inverter to tie the tanks. That, Jay Sanchez, is the right way. What up, K-Sly? I have 5 12-gauge extension cords ranging from C. Gotta have extension cords. Plenty of extension cords. Heater. You know what? Green plaid. I'll say that a heater problem is an everywhere problem, and I think the last week or so proved that. Totally a northern thing. Like last winter, I had all my heaters break, and it's before I loaded up on Finex. All the Finexes worked, but all the non-Finexes broke for whatever reason. So whatever. This is how I roll. The one thing that's always baffled me, and I've talked about it, is when Bulk Reef Supply released their own branded heater. Everybody bought it. Not everybody, but everybody was like, damn, I'm going to give you that heater. Ain't nobody ever used that heater in the United States. It has a good reputation overseas, but it's just so interesting to see people flock to that stuff just because of the name. These are solid. You need an Inkbird. You plug these in, they're going to heat your stuff up. You're going to be able to make coffee with these. See, extension cords. Just bought the something inverter, charger, transfer switch, AGM. So we'll talk about that 100 amp hour AGM. That's actually 50. All you're really going to get out of that is 50 to 60 on an AGM, which is lead acid. We could talk about that in a second. AC is a must here. Mine's an older model, loud as hell. Boom, boom, boom. I'm catching up, sorry. Ice packs at deep freeze. That's a really good point. I also use, I have used those portable air conditioners before when my air conditioner broke. So those ones where you run the hot as hell hose outside and you get enough cool. I have absolutely run those in my house. 2 of them. And that worked. This is absolutely a wintertime focus thing, but true. So cold packs in the freezer is a great idea for summertime problems, or those portable roll them in air conditioners. Those things work great. Hey, John. So that's that's 3. Those are cheap, right? Hold on, let me show. We didn't even talk about tank upstate stuff. We're going to get to it. That. I got 2 of those. So the 2,000 watts are really like 1,600 load. That 2,000 is peak. But seriously, for $430, and you can catch this thing. Hold on, maybe I can show it. Where's my camel on this? See? The current price is here, but it has been significantly cheaper. It's been $335. Y'all know camel? Oh, you can't see this. Crap. Check out the plug-in, camel. Load it up, create an account, sign in, buying stuff on Amazon. You want a price watch? That's weird. It doesn't show that. And it'll create it. The lowest price this generator has been is $336. The highest price is $856, which is stupid. Right now it's $430, and that's a pretty damn good deal. I don't know how much I paid for the first one. It was less because it was a lightning deal or something. Remy, you being a punk? Yeah, I have a Porsche. There's a Porsche in the garage. It's going to be one of my projects. It was my daily driver for a long time, but I turned in my man card. We talked about this before. I went to Home Depot and I turned in my man card, and I bought a Civic hybrid stick shift, manual transmission. Oh man, what's going on? My screen is all screwed up. I'm hiding behind here. That's better. I'm gonna lean over here over here, bear style. Okay, generator. We already talked about Inkbirds. I have like 4 of those in my garage. Some are open, some aren't. But seriously, let's recap. Extension cords are number 1. Heaters are number 2. Generator. Number 3. Inkbird. Number 4 for the heater. You could combo that, so we're really only at 3. See? Heater. Seriously, these things are cheap. Let me look. Yeah, see? 300 watt. $40. Buy them. Have too many of them. Buy so many that people look at you like, what are you doing? Oh man, don't let the water get too low with these. Ooh. You gotta throw them out after that. All right, heater's gone. This is gone. What's this? I don't want a software update. Generator's gone. Come hurricane time, not trolling, promise, just noticed in your Yeah, that's a 996. That's a 2000 Remy. It's okay. That's a 2000 Carrera Cab 4, so an all-wheel drive convertible 911. 2000. Don't buy them. I mean, they're pretty cheap, but don't buy them because they have this thing called an intermediate shaft bearing that likes to blow up, and you could have a Porsche for 40,000 miles, or you could have a Porsche for 200,000 miles, and the intermediate shaft bearing blows. You never know. It's like winning the lottery the wrong way, and it shreds your motor. And then you're like, damn, I got to do an LS swap with a Porsche because I'm not putting a Porsche motor back in. I had the intermediate shaft bearing retrofit performed. But still not a, I mean, for a convertible, it's an all-wheel drive convertible. It handles okay. It's fun. You can throw it in the corners and stuff, but it's slow. It used to be fast. And then we bought another car, and I was like, damn, the Porsche is slow. And then I bought another car, and I was like, damn, the car that made the Porsche slow is slow. So there's that. Well, not quick. Is it worth getting a generator that accepts more than one fuel type? That's totally up to you, Sleaze. I got a big old gas can in the garage. And, I mean, I could run several days on that can. So, it's all what you have available and how much, whatever. These are gasoline. You could get them. You could do the Hondas. There's a retrofit you can perform and run them off propane, which is slick. Because propane is cheap and you can store a whole lot, and it takes forever to go through a propane bottle. So if you do have a Honda, little baby Honda generators, which are super nice, you can do the retrofit to run them off propane. Or buy one that's already kitted for multi-fuel. So, yeah, that would work for me. But I don't have that. Which Inkbird do you recommend? Oh, I just closed it. How do I go? Here. This one. It's a ITC 306T. Those two outlets can hold 2 heaters. 4750 King Tide. Got that. All right, there you go. King Tide, I hope you get that Honda fixed. I hope you find a small motor shop that'll take care of that thing, because still, it would be nice to have. Jeremy Phillips, we're going to get there. I know you've talked about Lifey P04 in a UPS in the past. Have you tried any of the... I haven't, and I'm going to, because the price of the LEE bars, because we're going to talk about Will Prowse, sorry. And the batteries that he is suggesting, there's a couple that I'm going to click around on that page. What's up, Greg? Those little Honda, whatever. You can't beat those little Honda generators. They're nice. However, that's half the price. Yeah, so buy 2. That way you got a backup. So yeah, like I said, that's 2. So your generator runs out of gas or whatever. Your car is close, and you can plug. Not this one. Don't buy this one. This one's my crap inverter. Buy an inverter. Let me click the page. This one is not. This is a modified sine wave. This blue one. The one on the screen is a pure sine wave. You want a pure sine wave. Period. This is for other stuff. This isn't for heaters or fans or fancy electronics. This is for traveling in the RV, because I do have a pure sine wave over there underneath the seat in the RV right now for another project. But this is for plug it into the house batteries in the RV and run laptops while we're on the road. That's what this one's for. The difference between modified and pure. Modified sine waves are still pretty squared off, right? Because they take a while to build up their power too. So they build it up and then they start chopping the voltage to make it look like a sine wave. But it's still pretty square. And when you do that to your controllers, you do that to any fan loads. You do that to, those two fans will run funky or they'll blow. Electronics don't necessarily like it. If your electronics run off of a wall wart, off a power supply, then you're probably a little better off. But still, that thing's going to get hot, and it's going to be really inefficient, and you risk blowing that transformer. Pure sine wave, it's just like house power. It's just like juice coming out of your wall, right? In the U.S., it's anything from 110 to 120 with a nice pure sine wave. That's what you want. This one, that's 600 watts. So I did some math earlier today. And if you wanted to run, this is for a really small tank. So remember that. This is a small tank. If you wanted to run 2 75-watt heaters on a battery for 6 hours, That's 22 DC amps. You would need at least a 500, note that's a 6, you would need at least a 500 pure sine wave, so it is efficient. For 6 hours on battery, you would need legit 300 amp hours of available power. If you have a lithium iron phosphate, then you're going to have, and it's a 300 amp hour cell or cell pack, then you're okay. If it is lead acid of any sort, AGM or otherwise, flooded, gel, anything, and I posted this on Instagram, you can see it, the voltage drop, the sag that you get with lead acid under any kind of decent load, and heaters would be a decent load, you're going to run out of power. About half. It'll be half the power of a lithium iron phosphate at the same amp hour rating. So if you need 300 amp hours to run 6 hours for 150 watts worth of heater, remember, these are 300s, so they'd only last 6 hours. You need 300 amp hours lithium iron phosphate, or 500 to 600 amp hours of old school dinosaur batteries. Gabe, you mentioned, wait, let me scroll. What's up, Pat? You know what? I know people that did turbines. They are so, they're more inefficient than they sadly should be. That's unfortunate. Not the big ones. The big ones are beasts. The whole blaming the world on the blaming the woes on the solar and the turbine, that's on the turbines. It's just, that's an interesting thing because they work just fine in Antarctica. They just weren't prepared down south. All right, I'm good. Batteries. Did you hear about the guy that was dumping boiling water into his reef tank to keep it warm for 3? Yeah, totally. I was hit up. When it was happening, Savage, Dave, threw somebody my way. Somebody you all know. And how to keep the tank warm. I said, do you have a gas stove? I was told the gas stove is too far away. I'm like, no, not for heat. To boil your tank water. While you're boiling, you're just scooping to aerate, because that's horrible. Don't do that. Be prepared prior to that. And then, yeah, absolutely heat that water up and pour it in. Put a who, what? Prolific breed. What? Put a who, what? All right, so we've talked extension cords, number 1, heaters, number 2, Inkbirds with the heaters, generators, inverters, which you're going to need batteries. So let's talk batteries if you're going to do that. Now, look, if you, like I said, if your car is close, hook your pure sine wave inverter up to your car, run your car, right? If a storm's coming, go fill it up. Run your car. Let it idle overnight. It'll totally power your tank with the correct size inverter. Use your car. There's people that do that, and that's okay. Just let that sucker sit out there and idle. In my case, I can totally use my car, right? The big battery that's underneath is a hoss of a battery. So, and there's this cool little 12-volt battery underneath the frunk, and if I plug an inverter into it, which I have done, I can power all of my tanks just off of my car. You could do that with a regular car too. What's up, Happy? So think about that. With an inverter and a car, you're set. You're covered. You don't have to worry about it. I'm going to talk about this a little bit. Buy these. Just have them. Because they're not going to take up a lot of juice. You can run them off your inverter. Keep in mind that an inverter is more efficient when it's under load. So although it will drain the battery more, whatever You just plug these into the inverter and you're good to go. Actually, these are probably, I need to go look. I don't know the voltage of these. If these are, whatever, if these are 12 or 24, it's super, super, super simple to make an Ecotech style, without ripping you off, battery backup for Ecotech MP10s, MP whatevers, or the Jabos for super cheap with cells you could buy from battery hookup or from anywhere. These are really easy to make into emergency flow. So if you have your heaters and your Inkbird and you have your flow and they're all running off batteries or the car or the whatever, you're good to go, right? Mogi just sent me a text and it blocked my ability to, there we go. That's flow. Batteries. Just place an order for Inkbird. Right on, Taylor. That's good. My Ecotech backup battery can push my single MP10 for close to 72 hours. King tide, it can, but only for the first year and a half. After that, the lead acid, the 18 amp hour lead acid battery that's inside that thing is total crap. All you're really paying for is a $35 lead acid battery and a $5 charger. There's no intelligence inside of that battery. So I took my Ecotech battery backup that I bought used because I wanted to see what was inside of it, and I opened it up and I tossed out that 18 amp hour and I filled it up with lithium iron phosphates. Those will last 8 to 10 years instead of 2 to 3 years. After 3 years, go ahead and load test that 18 amp hour and you're going to find out it's probably half. So it's not going to run for 72 hours after you've had it for a while. Lead acid on cycling or just sitting there, no good. It's the same as a car battery, right? Car battery is going to last 3 to 5 years. And car batteries are hardly ever cycled. They're always at their top charge. It's just part of the chemistry. That's just how they go. So remember that. When you are ready for your Ecotech battery backup, battery swap, don't put a lead acid in that thing. Put a lithium iron phosphate. It'll use the same charger. You don't have to do anything different. Not lithium iron phosphate. No fire hazard. And really, don't buy those things. They're just it's like you're paying for the weight. Lead acid is totally heavy. So yeah, if you don't want to do it, send it to me and I'll kit it. It's really easy to do. It's going to come back with screws instead of rivets. You see how they don't want you to look inside? Juan is gaming. Juan, what are you gaming? My kid listens to either really angry rock music, which is fun because I like his playlist, or audiobooks. That's an interesting kid. What options for apartment dwellers? If you don't have you got a balcony. If you got a balcony, a generator's easier. If you don't have a balcony, then you're totally stuck with batteries. You can... Lead acid is cheap, but lead acid isn't really all that cheap when you consider the amount of amp hours it's truly putting out over the period of time that you need it. So apartment dwellers, all about... John, we're going to get back to this truck thing because I want you to justify a truck over like my car. You got to have batteries. So just buy batteries. If you're not comfortable making your own, you can buy 100 amp hour for, under $600. That's a lot of money. It seems like a lot of money. And you can buy lithium iron phosphate kits from AliExpress for less money than that, for about $450, $470, that are 280, 260 something amp hours. I can flip over and show you. But for the money, if you're going to buy lead acid and you want 100 amp hours with a lead acid, that's 200 amp hours of lead acid. So figure out that cost. Like my motorhome batteries are 80 amp hours, but they're actually 40, and I got 2 of them. So For price comparison, lead acid is half the amp hours at the same rating. So you'll have to buy 200 amp hours of lead acid, and then you're going to replace those batteries in 3 to 5 years, where these batteries, lithium iron phosphates, will last 8 years. So twice the life. And you don't have to buy twice the amp hours. So just think about it. Do a price comparison, a legit price comparison. You should make your battery backup and sell them. Emmanuel, I would rather teach you how to fish, man. I would rather teach you how to make your own battery backup, because when you learn how easy it is, then you can be angry like me and pissed that people are getting ripped off buying like an Ecotech battery backup. Because it's so cheap. Juan, the Blue Yeti, went downstairs. My kid's using it when he streams on Twitch, when he's gaming. King Tide, it's so easy to do. I can make that thing's 18 amp hours, but if you think about it, it's probably only 10, maybe. I can make you a 12 for freaking dirt cheap. You'd be blown away. Go to Battery Hookup and look at their branded lithium iron phosphate 6 amp hour cells. And you do 4 of those in series, 2 of those 4 cell packs in parallel, and you have 12 amp hours for dirt cheap. And then you just throw a BMS, a battery management system, on there that can handle that many cells to keep them balanced, and you use the same charger. All that's good. What's up, Angry Owl? I like the truck. You win, John. I got nothing. Yeah, so if you want to learn how to do battery stuff, it's not dangerous. You're not going to kill yourself. As long as it stays under 40 volts. Don't go 48 volt. As long as it stays under 40 volts, you're not going to hurt yourself. That's pretty much the limit. If you're using lithium iron phosphate, it's not going to catch on fire. So you're good. A webinar for batteries. Yeah, we can make some Yeah, I mean, if y'all want to make some batteries, I'll make a battery. And I'll make a battery that'll fit inside. Actually, you don't even need to make it. You can just buy the cell and do a 1-for-1 swap if you really wanted to from Amazon. Juan, real quick. I haven't done a water change in months. Fine. I went years. And my tank looks great. At what point? First, Juan, I'm horrible. I'm not the right person to ask right now because I'm failing as a reefer. But I would go a year without water changing. And you know what? Back then, the tank was in a lot better shape than it is right now. What's up, Juice? If everything's stable and everything's happy, do it when you want to do it. There's really no whatever. Back to that. Back to Emmanuel. Seriously, I would rather you know how to do it than me make money off of doing it for you. I think there's a hell of a lot more value to me. I don't need that money. There's a whole lot more value to me if you learn and you're able to teach somebody else than me making $20 margin off of some battery pack because you know I'd sell it too cheap. That cool? That's legit. All right, lithium iron phosphates. Apartment life. If you look, you would need, what'd I say? 300 amp hours? Yeah, you'd need 300. You'd need 3 of these. Actually, this is a really good price because a Battleborn battery. Will may have. Oh, there you go. Now you're getting there. See, Battleborn. Look at the price. 100 amp hours for freaking $950. These things are really expensive. They are considered the King Hill mofos of, why isn't it Mofu? The King Hill mofos of lithium iron phosphate cells. But they're really expensive. This is a 300 amp hour. What's this, 150? For 62 per watt hour is pretty good. How much is this? Did it take me away from Will's site? Nope. Whew, hells no. That's too much. You don't need to do all that. But if you wanted to buy, if you didn't want to make your own, and I get that. There's people that don't want to do that, and I totally respect it. If you want to run 150 watts of heater for 6 hours, you're going to need 3 of these. If your only option is batteries. We can go to cells. These 280s, which are the ones I'm going to buy, are freaking dirt cheap. And you know how much I like AliExpress because of $40 bar light, $45 bar light. So for $500, you get 280 amp hours, which is really close to 300 amp hours, which is how much you'd need to run your heaters for 6 hours at 150 watts. Keep that in mind. You need this, and you need a battery management system, a BMS, which is super easy. I mean, this is a 4S BMS. No big deal. That's why I like these big cells, because you get all this power, and you only need a single little BMS to pay attention to these cells. And these are really good cells. All right, let me catch up. I hope, John, that's really nice of you. I really hope to learn. The tank is doing really interesting things, and we could do an update. Maybe it's time to pause. What else do I have? I already talked Inkbird. I talked cells. Seriously, $460 for 280 amp hours, and it's just getting cheaper. I love it. I love lithium iron phosphate. I got them all over the place. There's others too. These don't have the hole. Oh, they do have the holes, so you could wire them together, whatever. These are the cells to get as far as I'm concerned. And if you're not following this guy, Will Prowse, on YouTube, go follow him. That's how I learned. Now, you can get all silly with solar, but I think most people are going to go that route and that route, inverter, or they may use their car or whatever. But seriously, that's all the stuff I have to talk about for power. The number one thing, extension cords. Make sure you have enough of these. Make sure you have a spare, because if it breaks, like my yellow one in the basement, it broke. I have no idea why. I re-ended it. Have extras. Pure sine wave inverter. Heaters and an Inkbird. Make sure you have a lot of heaters. You don't want to be put in a position where you're like, shit, I need a heater, because you're not going to get it. So have them. Have them laying around. Just really buy one every once in a while. They're not that expensive. Same for Inkbirds. What's up, Father? All right, let me catch up. Again, John, that's cool of you. I haven't learned anything yet, but I might be learning. We'll see. When you have a live stream for battery backup, I definitely watch and learn. Thomas, if you want me, I'll order the... Do I have... No. I'll order parts, and we'll make a battery if you want. If you want, I'll order the parts to make a battery backup that sits inside of a... if you wanted to make your own instead of buying it. That sits inside an Ecotech housing. And you can get bitter like me about getting ripped off. Okay, good to know. Success for years, appreciation size sucks. Yeah, Juan, totally. Learning experience. So many of the corals are insanely happy. The fish are happy. Oh, I got called out by Fan on the live stream yesterday because they were talking about yellow tangs, which is just stupid. Look, if your supply and demand to begin with is stupid because you don't need that damn fish, and the prices that I look, I hope there are no legitimate reefers out there paying that kind of money for a yellow tang. And if you have, look, and if you know somebody that's going to pay that kind of money, they need a friend. And you need to dissuade them. You need to say, no, that's dumb. Just wait. You don't need that fish right now. It's not like it's whatever. You're going to be able to buy yellow tangs. And one day in the future, you're going to be able to buy them for a reasonable price, and they're going to be aquacultured. And you're going to feel good about it because they didn't take it from the ocean. Just wait. If you got somebody that's going to buy one, tell them to wait. They need a friend. Hook them up. But Than called me out because I gave away a yellow tang. Like, after the prices went up, I was like, no, this is stupid. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to participate in this stupidity. And I gave it away. It's a local dude. The guy's awesome. He's somebody that is absolutely banking some of the coral that I killed. So, really, I mean, it's a hobby. Why would I do that? Why would I charge somebody that kind of money for a yellow tang? I gave it away, and Than's like, lies. I'm like, no, it was free because I don't play that. Jeremy Phillips, personally, I feel Will pitches his brands a bit. So, Jeremy, when Will is bit by his brands, he talks ish about them and pulls them off his website. So, I'm okay with Will pitching his brands because, as far as I'm concerned, he vets them. And when they suck, he pulls them off his website. So, just keep that in mind. I get what you're saying. But it's no different than me liking GHL stuff and not really liking Apex stuff. It's very similar to that, right? I have them. And I've had problems. I haven't had problems with the GHL, but I've had it with the Apex, so I'm not going to recommend the Apex stuff. It's like that. So, yeah, I'm okay with the way he does it. I don't think he's whatever. I've seen him pull brands like he just did with bigbattery.com with that big, I think it was a 24-volt cell that started leaking in his solar shed. No. Yes, in his solar shed. And he pulled it. He was like, nope, not going to recommend it. They need to fix this. So there's that. Also, not just his website. He also has that forum, so you can go and get alternative views. Check that out. But right on, lithium iron phosphate. How many amp hour on the batteries do you think you would need to run the whole tank system? For how long, Emmanuel? What's up, Darth? It's okay, Dad. I'm just catching up, sorry. I noticed my extension cord at the connection, the other was getting pretty hot, probably not ready. Yep, that's true. That happens. What up, OGDMV? That's the next step. Once the tank is up, learn to build a battery backup. I'll totally teach you how to build a battery. Or just go watch Will. I mean, he's already done it. If you want me to do it, I'll do it, but Will's done it. AGMA, everyone, late this. Didn't miss much. Scotty, just watch the playback. Some of the good stuff is there. I have a battery. I have a backup generator. Electricity, a backup generator to power the house. Is it one of those sweet runoff of natural gas ones? Went through. Yep, there you go. What's up, Varshall? Well, that's always been your mentality, though. If we had more people like you, then the hobby would be ruined because I'm old and bitter. Just hang out with the people. Just hang out with the people that make sense, right? Hang out with the people that make sense to you. There's a ton of people like me who are willing to. Hi, Mom. Who are what's up, Mermaid Reef? Who are willing to not make a buck off of you and to not sell their souls for particular brands. I think that's important. There's some people whose souls are sold. There are some people who walk the line. And there are some people that, you know what? Moki put out a good video about the Mastertronic. He was upfront about it. And that's the way he's got to be. Let's see. Generators. If you have a generator, run it. Go get it. Turn it on. Run them once a quarter. Put a calendar in your phone, or put a reminder in your phone. Put an appointment in your calendar app, and say run generator. And I know you don't want to do this, but you need to go do this because it's really important to make sure it runs. Like one of mine today, not this one, the yellow one, the one I got first, the 5-year-old one, needed a little bit of oil, so it conked out on low oil. And I filled it up and made sure it ran today. I think that's really important. Run your generators. Run them all the time. If your generator doesn't work, don't find yourself in a position where you're like, well, shit, now I need a generator. Because that's not going to help. Because you said, or you just, then you got an arm like that dude and Lady in the Water. Because you've been pull starting that thing all day and it won't start. Run it. Make sure it runs. Make sure it works. I know I'm preaching, but go do it. Because you're going to need it, and then it's not going to work. And you're going to be like, man, I wish I ran it. That's how I feel about all this power stuff. People spend $800 on a freaking Radeon XR30, and they won't spend $400 on a generator? Come on. Get your priorities straight. What's up, Bert? I still wish we had been able to meet up on that drive down. I think my dad and I would have enjoyed that. If nobody buys yellow tanks at the crazy prices, they will be back down to normal prices. But if people are going to pay for crazy prices, right, don't buy them. Go find a friend. Don't buy a tank. There's other tanks. You can go buy other Bristletooth. You can buy, is it a Scopus? I don't know. There's other cheaper tanks that kind of look like a yellow tang. It's just not yellow. It's reef safe. I was looking at them today. There's other options out there. Probably not a Scopus. Right. Don't buy a yellow tang. If your friend's buying a yellow tang, they need a reminder. Their souls are lost. Not all this. Sometimes their souls are lost. Sometimes they get caught up in it. Sometimes whatever. I understand the allure. If somebody came and gave me a Tesla, I'd be like, I mean, I'm already a little bit of a Tesla fan, but when somebody gave me a Tesla, I'd be like, man, go buy a Tesla. But I kind of already do that. But nobody gave me a Tesla. When it doesn't surprise me. Yeah, that's cool of you. We try. I think we try. The best you could do is try. Oh, Mom got my M. Night reference. There it is. What's up, Kay? Kay, did you get that? Did you get the stupid remote thingy that I sent you? That I forgot to send you? Yellow Mimic. Yeah, one of those. I saw those on Live Aquaria, but they were gone pretty quick once. Who was it? It was DMV Reefer, the young one, not the OG. He talked about it, and I looked on Live Aquaria, and they were gone. Yeah. Just scored a 4.5-inch yellow tank for $55. There it is. Whatever. I gave mine away, and I got one more. What's up with yellow-eye coal tanks being so expensive? Somebody gave me, or I paid $40 for it. I think I paid $40 for it from a local. From Mari. Yeah, I got it from Mari, a WAMAS member, a CMOS member as well, volunteer. And I think it was $40 because she wasn't having luck with it in her tank. And it's been in my frag tank ever since. That fish has been in there for like 4 years. What's with them being so expensive? Just buy cheap fish. Cheap fish need love too. They don't have to be that pretty. There's a joke in there, and I'm not going to go there. But cheap fish need love too. Mm-hmm. Friends don't let friends buy yellow tanks. Yes. Friends don't let friends get sucked into stupid purchases or listen to bad advice. Oh my God, there's so much out there. Uncle Elon and you will be taking a test drive to the moon sooner or later. Don't you worry. I'm a big fan of Uncle Elon. I like what he's doing there. Got 2 weeks. Oh, good. 2 weeks? That one took 2 weeks? The light got there a whole lot faster, okay? Thanks again. Look, okay? You see him right there? Alvarez? That's the dude that hooked me up with the Noop, whatever. The Sodom Noopsa. And I like that light. That's my budget light pick. That beats, I think. That beats the Dodge Viper. I like it. Oh, yellow eye coals are from Hawaii too. I hear there's blue. I was listening to Than's stream yesterday. I hear there's blue eye coals. I got to check them out. There's so many tangs that either look like a yellow, same body shape as a yellow eye coal or a yellow tang, or the same body shape, the bristletooth, I think that's right, as a yellow eye coal. Whatever. Go on Live Aquaria. You can find fish for $45. Quarantine. Oh, we should get to that. I totally screwed up. Tamini tang instead of a yellow. Yeah, I'm not gonna pay over $100 for a fish. I'm just not gonna do it. And I like fish. The fish right now, well, except for the one I killed today, which was horrible. How much damage does your engineer Blenny, the goby? I love that engineer goby, and you just have to, if you get an engineer goby, get it when it's little. Get it when it's like this big. Mine's like a foot. Mine's big. Get it when it's little. Make sure your rock work is legit sitting on, maybe not on the glass, but on a PVC sheet that sits on the glass. Make sure your rock work is stable. Make sure it's sitting on the tank bottom. Then you're good to go. Now, every coral that you want to put in the sand has to be sitting on a rock. And eventually that rock you may have to put a rock underneath that rock. That's what I've done. So anything that I need to sit somewhere has to sit on a rock that's actually legit sitting on the glass, because the goby's going to dig it out. But the copper band butterfly is my favorite fish, but the engineer goby is totally number 2. It's an awesome fish. It's cool. It looks at you when it swims. Seriously, it's like a foot. When it comes out and it swims around a little bit, it's huge. But most of the time, it just spends in its holes. That's what it likes. Yes, it does kick sand everywhere. Tank update. I can do this. Did I cover power well enough? Right? Get a generator. Run it. Get an inverter. Get batteries. If you can only think about it, do a price comparison and do a price comparison over 10 years. Buy lithium iron phosphates, because your lead acids aren't going to last that long. And I think it'll save you money in the end, because you're going to get more than 10. You're going to get more than 8 years out of them. You're going to get 12. And they'll still outperform a lead acid at 12 years. A 3-year-old lead acid. 12-year-old lithium iron phosphate will still kick its butt. Think about it. It's a really long time. Look way ahead. Extension cords, heaters. Make sure you have all that stuff, right? They do look like eels, Falcon. They're pretty sweet. One mimic, one blue eye. I haven't seen a blue eye coal. I got a blue. So I've got a yellow eye coal. I've got a yellow tang, and I've got a hippo. See, there you go, Kay. Quarantine. My quarantine saved my bacon today. Let's talk about this real quick. The red matter. I got the red matter. There's a cool dude here who I can take a sample to him and he'll hook me up, and he throws it under a microscope, and he's smarter than me and he knows what he's looking at. The red matter, which developed in my tank, which is absolutely not cyano, is microalgae. He threw it under the microscope and he saw it. Now, he also saw the evil bacteria and the philasters that are living in there and killing stuff. And that's still there. So he saw the rod-type bacteria that turns into brown jelly disease. He saw the little bacteria that kills acros. And he saw the philasters that, I have that video, maybe some of you have seen it, that swarm in like piranha and keep chewing on that stuff. And king tide coral, Steven is the man. I totally agree. Super, super, super lucky to have a resource that close who's willing to help. Actually, I need to post that because he did kick back the results from last week, and I'll share. So, yep. This is pretty huge. Life of Coral. So if you wanna follow somebody that's smarter than me, which like so many are, who are really into investigating the microorganisms that are kicking my ass in my tank, follow Life of a Coral. Totally worth it. All right, so yeah, red matter is just algae, which surprised me. That's really interesting. So I'm paying attention to that because when the red matter showed up, that's when stuff started dying. So it plays a part. What's up, Lynn? So tank recovery. I still have some corals dying. And what I've started doing is if they show a hint of death at all, I pull them because they're just going to go anyway. Because once that evil gets into coral, they're just going to die. So I pull them out. However, my pH has improved. Like today, I don't know if you can see that. The pH went over. This is yesterday. pH went 8.41 and came down to 9.43, which is really good for me until today, where the pH bottom. The basement was, the hard deck was 8. And I never have a low of 8. And the high hit 8.45. So I'm paying attention to that. Something's making my pH go really, really high. And it's not this sweet maker of things, and I found it, CO2 scrubber reactor doohickey that I'm going to give away. And I just haven't figured out what I need to ask or what the... I may just hit up Lynn. Lynn's got a cool number thing, and maybe we'll just do that on the stream. Maybe Lynn can pick a number, and whoever picks the right number, I'll give this away because I like the way she does that. Yeah, but I bought 2. So if you want a CO2 scrubber, we'll do this in the future. I'll fill it up with media, and I'll send it to you. And it's on me. Cool. I have one. I don't need it. I'm pulling in outside air. My media lasts forever. I pulled in inside air for one night just to see what would happen in just a tiny little bit of color change, and then I put it back to the outside tube, and media lasts forever. So I'll send it full. pH is good. Alkalinity is the uptake of alkalinity has also recovered, which is super strange. So pH is good, alkalinity is strong. I'm not able to, with the auto dosing of the KHD and the doser 2.1, I'm controlling how much it can adjust itself because I'm slowly working it back up to its set point of 8. And even working overtime with a 20% overage, it is still not making 8. It's like 7, 8, somewhere around there. So it looks like the tank is recovering. It looks like the corals are now using alkalinity, which I suppose is a really good sign, finally. So this is before I was an idiot. Well, I was an idiot. I'm always an idiot. But this is before I was a really dumb idiot. I like these little CJ pumps. And if you've got one of these Spec 3s or Spec 5 or tiny little tank and you need a little pump, this thing's awesome. It's a powerhouse, little beast. So I have one Spec 5 and 2 Spec 3s. Both 3s have this pump in it. I've ordered one more for downstairs in the 5. But I dig this little pump. And then this is also a CJ on this little. This is the this is a nano box. This is the Spec 3 that I had up here, sitting over here with the clowns in it. So is it Biodigest? No, it's not Biodigest. Oh, it's a Dr. Tim's product. Now I can't remember. Carlos, tell me what I used. You'll know. Man, there's a whole lot of Lin going on here. A lot of Tang stuff. Yeah, Lynn, your number game. So in that spec 3, I did a water change. I cleaned up that tank and I did a water change, and everything was happy. And I added too much of the bacteria that Carlos is fixing to tell me I used. Not the ones in the little vial thingies. Yeah, thank you. Eco Balance. There it is. I used too much of that. I was adding it and I spilled too much in, and I was like, it'll be okay. The instructions right on the back say if your tank gets too cloudy, that's because all the bacteria are like, yay, and taking up all the oxygen. And sure enough, that's what happened. As soon as the light turned on this morning, that tank went cloudy and the clownfish hit the floor. And I was like, oh no. So I took them both downstairs. Always have a quarantine, always have a quarantine, always have a quarantine. In the quarantine that lives in the garage, dropped them in there. The big one didn't make it. I felt terrible because it's just a stupid noob move on my part. But the little guy who was just damn near dead pulled through and is swimming around in QT. So I get to keep him. So I got to go find another clown. I feel terrible. It's just a stupid thing. Don't do that. Follow the directions. RTFM. Read the manual. Yeah, don't do that. Carlos, I set up Eco Balance to dose today. Very small amount. 10 mil a day to per the directions for 1 week's worth. I was talking to Jonathan, who helps out Than, and that's something he was working with too, Eco Balance. Yeah, so don't do that. For the most part, though, I think the tank in the basement, yeah, Lynn, I was pissed. I was so pissed. For the most part, the tank in the basement might be on the way to recovery, but I still think, what's up, Filipino Reefer? What's up, Great Bearded? I think, I don't know, we'll see. I'm playing this one day by day. Space Invader is stupid happy and growing like crazy. That other Pectinia that I got from Lynn is growing. What's up, Reef Doink? The softies, like what is it? I can't remember. The nem that's living in the frag tank is huge. I mean, there's so many corals that are really, really happy, except for the acros. Just getting wrecked. I have a lot of room now, so there's that. That's it. I rambled. If you don't have a backup battery, backup heating, backup flow solution that you have used and tested and know how to tell your neighbor how to do it, because you won't be home when it happens. If you don't have that, please do. Because, right, these tiny little lives that need our help, we just, we got to try. We got to do what we can to make that work, right? We'll do this. Let's do this. Lynn, if you're around next week, maybe we can do a number game next week. And then I'll, if somebody needs, look, only be rolling for this if you really want to play with a CO2 scrubber. This is cool. This is like homemade, and I dig it. And it seals up really freaking tight in there, and it's a big pain to fill. Actually, it's not that bad. But I like how simple this works. And you hook this up to your skimmer. That's what I did. Oh, that little eShop. Yeah, that little eShop skimmer. That thing puts out some oomph. But I hooked this up to the junk skimmer that's in my sump right now. And I pull from outside air, and it goes through this. And then it goes into my skimmer. And it works really, really well. And it just hangs on the sump edge. This is 3D printed. This isn't. I don't know where that came from. Actually. Maybe it is, because the inside is 3D printed and this is 3D printed. I don't know. This is cool. Yeah, see, you gotta be careful with those silly clownfish. Whatever. Oxygen matters. Those things need to breathe. Hope it works out. I'm going to start dosing Biodigest tomorrow. EcoBalance next week. So, I did my first Biodigest Friday. And now dosing EcoBalance every day. 10 mil. I want one of those for my skimmer. And see, this is what it's for. These are for little tanks and little whatevers. And I got a small saw, put a small tank. So whatever, this is kind of perfect. If I was pulling inside air, this makes perfect sense to me. But I can certainly tell you, pulling outside air through this doesn't change the medium. Doesn't challenge it at all. All right, y'all. 8:40. Thanks for hanging out. I hope it's helpful. Look, if you need, thanks, Chris. That's really cool. Very cool of you. Thank you so much. If you need power info, if you need to know how to hook this stuff up, if you need to know how not to, I'm not going to go so far as to say how not to catch your house on fire, because really all this stuff is super, super easy. But if you need a push in the right direction, thank you, sir. That's super cool of you. Hit me up. I'll walk you through it. I'll send you what I would use. And I go overboard. I accept that. If you're like, thanks, Gabe. If you're like, dude, that's crazy. Can you do something a little cheaper or whatever? I'll give you the options. Just understand that it may not meet your needs when you really, really need it. So think about it. Think about how important it is to you, and maybe start putting a little bit of money away here and there to get something you need. Okay? Later, Carlos. What's this? My father offers. I can't, somehow that, y'all can read that. So, cool. Pure sine wave inverter, generator, lithium iron phosphate batteries, extension cords, too many of them. Buy so many that when you get home, somebody in your house goes, what? Heaters, Inkbirds, have them. Don't wait until you need them. Have them. And then you'll be good to go. At least, whatever. At least you made the effort. If you fail, you tried your hardest, right? All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate it. I need to get working on my thumbnails, too. Happy Sunday. I hope you have a great week. I hope everybody's doing well. Hope you're healthy. Hope your family's doing well. Go get your shot. My parents got their shot. My wife got her shot. My grandma got her shot. I'm still waiting to get my shot. I'm one Charlie. I got to work for it. Be well. Happy reefing. And be kind, everyone. Thanks.